In this video we are going to talk about model layer. We'll cover models, resource models and collections. Let's go to code. In Magento 2, the usual namespace for models is model. In this namespace usually all collections, models and resource models are stored. And the most basic entity in this namespace is resource model, because it's communicating directly to database. The common namespace for storing resource models is resource model under model namespace. Here we can create our resource model. Let's call it item.php. Oops. Here we'll specify a correct namespace. Mastering, sample model, model, resource model. And class called item. As it is resource model, it should extend abstract DB class from Magento framework model resource model DB. The only thing required for resource model to work using default behavior is implementation of protected function underscore construct. In this function we would like to call init method underscore init, specifying the table where this resource should load and save data. Let me copy it from our install script. And ID field name to be able to identify instances. Then we are going to create a model, one namespace up. Let me copy the namespace from here and create a new PHP file called item under model namespace. Let's call it the same as item, but the model should extend abstract model class. From Magento framework model namespace. Abstract extensible model can also be used. It provides ability to store extensible attributes. However, our particular model is not going to work with extensible attributes. That's why I would like to use just abstract model. And model should implement protected function construct as well, where we are going to call init function with specifying our resource model. Let's find it and use construct class to pass it as string. That's it. Actually, it would be a good idea to implement also setters and getters for all fields in a model. However, it's not required, as we can always use getData and magic getters and setters from Magento data object, so I will not create it here. Now let's create a collection. Collection is actually a resource model. Let me fix a bug here. And all collections should be created under resource model namespace. In this case, I'm going to create an item namespace inside resource model where all resource models related to item will be stored. And create a file named collection.php. I will copy namespace from resource model as well. Add an additional level, and the class will be collection, and collection should extend abstract collection. Abstract collection from Magento framework model, resource model, db collection namespace. For the collection, we have to define the ID field name property. That is just ID in our case. And we have to implement underscore construct protected function where we can identify the model and resource model for this collection using init function. So here I would like to pass model first, be item from mastering sample model namespace, and resource model second. Unfortunately, we cannot use the same name for resource model because it's already declared. That's why I'm going to update the uses. Use resource model item as resource as item resource. And now we can use it in the init function. Item resource class. Let's make it look a bit better. So that's basically it. Now our data is loaded from mastering sample item table by resource model. It is located here, and we are able to create models that is using resource model to load data, and we are able to work with collections that are using both resource models and models. How we are going to use this model layer, we'll talk in our next videos. And the next video will be about controller layer. See you soon.